Fall Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who has a favorite type of beef meat, pig meat, and water meat, but he's doesn't have to set his mom up for a date with Theo Vaughn because he's going on a date with Diego Pavia's mom, Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. Diego Pavia's mom's a babe, man. How are you?
Diego Pavia is just can't stop losing, frankly, is all it boils down to. In terms of my favorite meats, in terms of beef meat, I do just like a regular cow. In terms of what was the other one?
Pig meat.
Pig meat, big fan of a pork roast, man. You're gonna keep it simple there. And then water meat, I like seals. Like I like baby seal meat for sure, obviously.
It's all about going to the club.
That's right. Going to the club just changes as you get a little older.
You know, I get older, they stay the same age,
That's,
baby seals.
that's right. That's right.
Oh my God. And obviously, we've all started here. Our first and 15 is it don't mean enough. With South Carolina getting upset by Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt Commodores quarterback Diego Pavia won or lost a bet. I don't know, but his mom's going on a date with Southern comedian Theo Vaughn.
That's right. And Pavia's one caveat for this was Theo Vaughn had to, ask Tate McRae on a date out for him. And Theo Vaughn sent the screenshot proof of that. That actually happened. So honestly, we could have done this as we're living in a simulation, except we're already doing that segment later
Yeah.
today. But what a wild world. I mean, like, I don't know why Theo Vaughn is associated with Vanderbilt at all. I'm pretty sure he's from Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, I think he's from New Orleans. He's a big LSU fan. Like he went to
Is he?
LSU.
Okay, okay. I had no idea. Just I knew it wasn't Vanderbilt. Like, no offense to Theo Vaughn, but doesn't exactly strike me
Yeah.
as the Vanderbilt type. Um, just saying. But neither does Diego Pavia. So, it's a fitting that they found a kinship in this.
I think it's hilarious you brought up Oklahoma because back during the height of COVID with the Tiger King, and they were gonna make the movie,
Yeah.
and I said what actors would be in the Tiger King, and Theo Von was the first choice. He's like he just
Yeah.
vlogs there.
He doesn't have to act. He can just be there.
He's just like just hanging out there.
I just wandered
Uh,
onto the set and that kept me in. I don't know, man.
and the other guy would be unfortunately be Shia LaBeouf because he's the guy with the tummy tats. He's prepared for this for his whole life.
100%, man. Whenever Shia LaBeouf needs to get white trashy, he's very, very good at it.
I know, and the return to the silver screen for Amanda Bynes, and this is false start.
Hell yeah, brother. Oh my God. But no, I mean, like, I think I'm gonna get probably more serious than I should when we're talking about Diego Pavia's mom going on a date with Theo Vaughn. But like, I feel like this is indicative of like where Vanderbilt has like how far Vanderbilt has come. Like,
Yeah,
this is not something that would have happened 4 years ago. Truly,
no,
like when Clark Lee took over this program, this was like Vanderbilt wouldn't be in the national consciousness about something as like silly and stupid as this. This is something you hear about like an Alabama player, an Ohio State player who has those programs, Texas, they're used to like celebrities, quote unquote, on the sideline and non-football celebrities as well. Like, Matthew McConaughey works ostensibly for the Texas football program. Like those are things you're used to seeing for those big programs. You're not used to seeing that in Nashville. And like
no.
that's really effing cool. Like that is a very cool thing that like Vanderbilt has become part of the national college football consciousness, and in a way it hasn't been since what, James Franklin? And like even then I would argue it's bigger than it was then.
Yeah, I know. Like back when we were like in school, like there was that really good year with Bobby Johnson, like "Yay Doors, anchor down."
Yeah.
They had Jay Cutler a few years like when we were back in high school, so
Mhm.
that was kind of cool. But James Franklin had that moment there with Pat Robinette and Austin Carter Samuels.
Yes, sir.
Um, just what a name.
I mean, talk about names that do belong at Vanderbilt. There's one right there.
100%. But like with Vanderbilt now, it's the same thing with Georgia Tech. It's not like, oh, yay for them. Now it's kind of like, nah, these are teams I don't want to see on my SEC or ACC schedule. Like
Absolutely not.
Vanderbilt's 3-0. There's a chance. I think we were talking about this off air. Like if I look at their schedule, I think there's a chance they could start the year out 6-0.
I'm pretty sure you're right. At least 5-0, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 5-0 before they go into the Alabama game, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
you got Georgia State and Utah State. Then you host Bama. You're at Alabama, host LSU, host Mizzou. It gets really tough there, but like at that point, like all you got to do is win your next two games. You're going to go to a bowl game because Kentucky's not good, and Diego Pavia owns Hugh Freeze's soul. So you
Is
got that,
is
and then
there a
Tennessee at the end of the year is a very winnable game too.
is there a bye week before the Alabama game?
I think that there might be. I'll look this up. So
Ooh, no.
no,
So
no, no.
you get Alabama in an advantageous spot on the schedule because that's the week after the Georgia game for Bama.
And then you get a bye at home against ahead of LSU.
Yeah,
So and then your other bye is after Auburn at home, and then you just host Kentucky, and then you go Tennessee to the end of the season. Like this could be a team conceivably that could win 8 games.
100%, absolutely. And like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to like talk about Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech in these terms. Like, these are no longer pesky underdogs. I don't know if you, we're it's no secret we're big fans of the Vanderbilt program. Like I'm a cover three guy. Barton Simmons being involved with the program is cool. That's a podcaster's dream to go and be a GM of a college football program. And but like we've loved what Clark Lee's been doing there. Like he's doing this, his process has been right the entire time. And like you look at everything that's happening for this program, and I was watching the behind the scenes or like the cut up video that Vanderbilt football did on social media, and it had Clark Lee's speech. And I think one thing that stood out to me when he was talking to his team, I want to say it was at halftime when they already had a lead, but he looked at his team in the locker room and he said, "We can win this thing blowing them out, or we can win it close, but we can win this game." And like, I feel like that's a message we don't hear often enough from coaches. Like, I feel like so often in coaching, you hear, the Dan Lannings of the world, like we're gonna run over them and like make them like part of the turf. You know what I mean? Like that's how Oregon operates and stuff like that. There's never like we can win this big, we can win this close. And like I like that because that to me that's instilling a lot of confidence in this team that is like still perceived by many as an underdog. They're not an underdog anymore. Like they are a winner, and like it doesn't matter what game you play, Vanderbilt's gonna be ready for it. And I like this might be the best coach team in the country, truly.
Certainly up there. I mean, again, it's sort of early for me or whatever. I'm tired. It's my off day, but
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. But I think really the big thing is if that's what Lee's message was to the team, that resonates because it's purely authentic and it's not some hokey Butch Jones, Dan
Yeah.
Quinn shtick where it's like this is you're just regurgitating some crapola. Like,
No.
stop serving me dog food and telling me it's steak.
No, 100%. And like his pregame message was two words, focus and execution. And like that's as simple as it gets, but like that's confidence in the work that you've been putting in as a coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like if you focus and execute on what we've coached and the guys that we have here, we're gonna be fine. And like I love that. And like how many times in the past decade have we looked at Vanderbilt and like heard the words focus and execution and thought, "Oh yeah, that'll be enough to get it done." No, you're gonna like in years past, it's been like focus, execution, and a horseshoe up your ass. Like that's what you're gonna need to win this game.
Yeah. I know it's called First Bank Stadium and they're renovating it now, but like they may need to call it it's not Vanderbilt Stadium anymore or whatever it's been. It's Estadio Pavia.
That's right.
They practice in the Parthenon.
That's 100%, dude.
I know you're going to Nashville like here next week and everything like that. I don't know if you're going to see the Parthenon, but it's
We'll,
wild.
we'll make a point of it. We'll make a point of it.
I know you're going to be on the other side of the Cumberland River there, but
It's fine.
we're going to ford the river.
That's right. I've never been scared.
But I guess to tie a bow on this is like Pavia is fun. Pavia's like it makes college football fun. So maybe he'll be back for like another year. Keep playing. I don't care. Just keep doing it.
I mean, if he wants to, go ahead. I think he, with all the reports coming out from the congressional stuff, he tweeted out Cap. I'm not super hip on the Gen Z slang, but I do believe that means it's not true. He's done. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Cap means. I'm not that cool. But fudge, I'm trying to remember exactly like what it was with Vanderbilt and this. This is a good point. Um I think like yeah, what we do our we're gonna do a Hall of Fame at some point, the False
Hell
Start
yeah.
Hall of Fame. And as soon as we have a couple more years here where there's people that are clearly just not coming back to college football,
Hmm.
like they get inducted. This is the first ballot guy. Like we've already put him in, he's already been inducted to Homer Hickam with us. Like this guy's going to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, 100%. First inductee, first what color are we making the jackets? Because like gold's been taken. What color we got to make the jackets?
Dude, the Hall of Fame's next to the mines.
That's right. That's right.
It's charcoal, dude.
It's coveralls. Your Hall of Fame coveralls.
Um,
With the sleeves cut off because you got to let the meat sleeves hang, baby.
I was not prepared for that, but they get coveralls. But Diego Pavia can't stay in Neverland forever because he gone eventually.
Yes, sir.
In the extended wake of Deshaun Foster being out at UCLA and Brent Pry at Virginia Tech, let's look at some of the best candidates to replace both. I wrote this for John of the Dog, basically saying that yeah, Mike Bobo and Glenn Schumann are not even close to candidates.
Yeah.
The fact that they're not even listed.
Yeah. Don't love that.
I think this is from BetAG Online is probably where these odds are from
Yeah.
early in the week. So I'm going to rattle off the odds for UCLA's coach and just
Mhm.
kind of see what this does for you. You got John Gruden at plus 400, Deion Sanders at plus 500, Kenny Dillingham at plus 600, Justin Wilcox at plus 800, Tommy Reese at plus 1,000, Dave Aranda at plus 1,200, Jimbo Fisher plus 1,200, John Sturmall plus 1,400, Ryan Silverfield plus 1,600, Alex Golesh, which you've been pronouncing correctly, plus 1,800, Brent Key plus 2,000, Tony White plus 2,000.
My first reaction to a lot of this is none half of these guys are not taking this job. Like
No,
what in God's name? Like if John Gruden returns to coaching, I assure you it is not going to be his job as hard as UCLA. If Deion Sanders leaves Colorado, I assure you, like Colorado is a better job than UCLA right now. Maybe
yeah,
like in terms of upside, that's not the case, but in terms of what that job is right now, they are not the same kind of job. Kenny Dillingham, I don't know why that name's up there. I
no,
like he's at alma mater doing a great job. I don't understand why that's up there. Justin Wilcox, sure. Tommy Reese, wouldn't hire him. I don't, that's just me. Wouldn't hire him. Dave Aranda, Baylor is a better job. Jimbo Fisher, he's not coming back to coaching to coach UCLA. Like John Summerall is going to have his pick of the litter. He's not going, like, a lot of these names don't make sense to me.
no. And like the best name on there is actually probably Britt Brennan, and he's not even listed.
Right, 100%. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
So Brent Key is not leaving his alma mater. Kenny Dillingham is not leaving his alma mater. The only way this happens is if UCLA is like, we're going to pay you Power Two money for this,
Yeah.
which obviously that works against Georgia Tech and Arizona State, but like they're not gonna no.
No,
Like
they're not going to pay that. Everything we've
no.
seen from you, the only like you look at the sequence of events that has led us to this point, and everything tells you that the money it would take to even like make these guys think about it, they're not going to spend on the football program. You had Chip Kelly, who you were underpaying at the time because Chip Kelly's stock was not at an all-time high when you hired him. It was frankly at an all-time low. And then he just leaves because of the resources and the lack of like not wanting to do the head coaching duties anymore. You hire Deshaun Foster on a whim essentially because you have to at that point, and you get Nico into the building because no one else wants him, and you get him at a discount. Like that's the only reason he's there. It's not like you paid up to like match what he was looking for. No, you got him at a discount. He's making less than he was last year at Tennessee. So like all of this is going on. Everything tells you this is not a job where they're going to be able to offer the world. They're
No.
not going to do that.
No, like they're not gonna do that. The fact is John Gruden and Deion Sanders are the two best odds just kind of shows how much of a joke this job is.
Yeah.
I'll kind of go to like the guys three, four, or four, five, six. Justin Wilcox, we'll get on him and touch on him in a second. He's listed pretty high for both jobs. I think people think he's a really good head coach. You could bring JKS with you.
Yeah.
But also you're essentially dealing with the same sort of academic restrictions as part of like a UC school going
Yeah.
from one to another. So that's challenging. Yeah, you may be able to level up in terms of finances and everything like that. The cross-country travel is not going to really kill you, but like maybe, but again, like I think he is much more likely to take Virginia Tech than UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking at guys that I think can make sense for both of these jobs, it's very clear to me that these are two different caliber of jobs. And
Yeah,
like, I'm not saying Virginia Tech is like the best job in the country, but like when you compare these two, Virginia Tech is a much better job in my opinion. Like there is a lot of work to do. It is not going to be an easy job by any stretch of the imagination because of the damage that has been done from Fuente and then Pry. But at the same time, like it is still there's more hopeful prospects at Virginia Tech right now than there are at UCLA.
100%. I think Tommy Reese could make it work, but I also think like he's an NFL OC, and I feel like he'd only do it if he would get a Power Two job, which could present itself at some point.
Agreed, 100%.
And then with Dave Aranda, I think he's in a good spot with Baylor, but I have been hearing some rumblings. There is some like financial issues
Mm,
going on a
okay,
little bit where like his name's getting floated a little bit. So maybe it's a little more tumultuous there in Waco than
okay.
we'd expect. I mean, it is Waco, so just like
Yeah, I mean, that tumult in Waco go hand in hand.
and I'm looking at other ones on here, like, okay, Brett Key is not happening, but Silverfield, Galesh, and White kind of makes sense,
Hmm.
as would Danton Lynn, the former defensive coordinator now at USC, whose
Yeah.
dad, Anthony Lynn, was the Chargers coach.
So the two of the names that you just mentioned there that I do like are Tony White and and D'Anton Lynn. Like
Yeah,
I think both of those names make a ton of sense. Another name that's not listed on the odds, but in the same mold, Tosh Lapoy, I believe is how you say it, the DC at
yeah,
Oregon. I think that would make a ton of sense. Like Will Stein gets a lot of the shine. That Oregon defense has been recruiting at an extremely high level. I saw someone compare him in terms of a hire to almost being like Syracuse hiring Fran Brown because
yeah,
of his recruiting ability. And I mean, let's be honest about UCLA. Like, if you can get the buy-in from that program, they are in an advantageous spot. You're in Los Angeles, California, a recruiting hotbed of the maximum level. And like you have the ability. So you get someone like that in the building, that can make a world of difference. And like what the antithesis of this is someone who's not listed here but has been mentioned quite a bit about UCLA is Dan Mullen. And it
yeah.
depends on what kind of coach you want. Because if you want someone who's a recruiter, then I like White, I like Lapoy, I like D'Anton Lynn, I like I like all these guys that you could bring in that way. But if you don't really want to invest in the recruiting part of this, then I think Dan Mullen makes a hell of a lot of sense because of his track record of player development.
Yeah, Mullen's another name too, where like he could make it work at UCLA. It would kind of be like he'd do what he did at Mississippi State there.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it,
exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like it's like Mississippi State has the disadvantages that UCLA is at is what Mississippi State always operates with.
and I think my favorite candidate's actually Tosh Lapointe. I think that one's really good
Yeah, I like that.
because
I like that one a lot. I was proud of that one.
so I'm looking up his Wikipedia. He's 44 going on 45. He's from Walnut Creek, California, which is essentially the Bay Area. He played his college football at Cal. So he's worked at Cal, Washington. He's a Nick Saban Bama disciple. He's also worked in the NFL for the Browns, Falcons, and Jaguars. So like he's also been under Lanning and stuff like that. So I think that like he comes from like the Lanning, Saban, Dan Quinn coaching tree. Like this will work. Plus, I think you know he's the whole like I'm gonna come in here and punch you in the mouth kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
I feel like this could be pretty good. I think people would be like, huh. And also, he's at that age where like he should be ready for this,
Hmm.
and they won't have to pay him a ton.
No.
But like you give him 4.5, I think he'd do pretty good there.
100%. Yeah, I think that I mean again, I go back to the fact that like the fact that Will Stein is the as hot of a coaching candidate as he is, that would help UCLA get Lapoy for cheaper than he probably should go, quite frankly.
And also, I'm like, he doesn't have Big Ten experience. Like, well, he does now.
Yeah,
So
he does
like,
now.
and
100%.
so I think being able to translate like the travel from Eugene to the Midwest would be similar to from Los Angeles to the Midwest too. So
100%.
I think that's my favorite candidate.
Yeah, I'm very in on that, 100%. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like Tony White, he played at UCLA if I'm not mistaken, right?
Um, I that sounds right. He's on Norvell staff. He had been, yes, he's a UCLA alum
Hmm.
from El Paso. He was a GA for UCLA back in '07, probably under Carl Doral. He's coached
Yeah.
at New Mexico, San Diego State, Arizona State. And then he got connected at Syracuse under Dino Babers, and then with Nebraska prior to going to Florida State this year. So Tony White's also a name that I would look at as well.
Yeah, 100%. And like these aren't the like if you're like a diehard UCLA fan, like these aren't the names like you're hoping for, I'm sure, but like I do think these are guys that could come in and rebuild your program.
There's some good candidates there. I think if they do it right, they'll get somebody substantial here. But like they got to find somebody that's in between Chip Kelly and Deshaun Foster, and that coach does exist for them. So that's good for UCLA.
100%.
Now let's move on to Virginia Tech.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
latest odds there. Plus 400 is John Gruden. What are we doing?
I don't understand this.
Edging him out by plus 100 is Shane Beamer at plus 500, Justin Wilcox plus 600, Ryan Silverfield plus 700, Alex Golesh plus 800, Will Stein's only plus 1,000, Jimbo Fisher plus 1,200, Charles Huff may have regret. He may come back at 1,400, John Summerall 1,400, Brian Newberry 1,600, Bob Chesney 1,800, Dave Doran 2,000, and GJ Kinney at 2,000.
Can I tell you my favorite name on this list that I'm not going to be able to get off of now? It's Bob Chesney. I
Oh,
would
that's
freaking
yeah,
love Bob Chesney at Virginia Tech because you look. I was listening to. I've been getting into macro dosing, which is PFT commenter and Arian Foster on Barstool, and but they were PFT obviously is a big JMU guy,
yeah.
and he like I think he was joking, but he made a good point. The emergence of JMU and Liberty in the state of Virginia has thrown a real big wrench into what Virginia Tech did historically. They are
Yes.
getting recruits at JMU and Liberty that you used to get at Virginia Tech, and so the depth of your roster is not at all where you need to be, and you're not in like you're never going to recruit every 5 star in the state. You're never going to recruit every blue chip player in the state. Like I understand that, but at the same time, when that's already going to be the case, just with the way college football is designed and then you're also having to competing for the 4 stars with JMU and Liberty and 3 stars, high 3 stars that you want in your program. That makes things a lot harder. And Chesney has been a part of that since he took over for Signetti 2 years ago. And like, I think he knows how to succeed in the state of Virginia. I think he knows how to get this done. And like, I think, put Chadwell in this spot previously. I think Chesney is a better candidate than Chadwell.
I think his offense is a little more dynamic. And I think to make that jump up from Holy Cross to JMU is certainly commendable. And Holy Cross has had a very good college football program historically too.
Yeah.
But like this is a step up. And I don't think Harrisonburg or Lynchburg, like none of them are near the coast, are they?
God,
No.
no, no, no.
No.
They're in Central Virginia for sure.
So, and also I was looking at this. One of the people we dog sit for, Banjo, his parents.
Yeah, yeah.
They're big UVA. They're UVA fans and stuff like that. They have like a cutting board of like the entire outline of the state of Virginia. Every city there's is Berg.
Oh,
It's
100%. 100%. It's
Lyn-
wild.
Lynchburg, Harrisonburg, Orville, Bergen,
Blacksburg, like,
Blacksburg.
yeah, the only one we don't got that I can think of on top of my head is Charlottesville and Roanoke. That's it, though.
And then
Oh, and Richmond, yeah, obviously.
Richmond, Norfolk, Newport News. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of big burgs out there. But no, like legitimately if you go to Harrisonburg, it's beautiful when you get there, but like you're driving through forest for like 30 minutes on the highway, and then all of a sudden there's like you come over a ridge and there's Harrisonburg in the middle. Like it's in central ass Virginia.
Bah, 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 bah.
Yes, sir.
I like the Bob Chesney one there a lot too. You're probably turning me around with that a little bit more. Um, it's interesting to see Will Stein's down that far. I for as much as I think Shane Beamer would be great.
Yeah. I just don't
It-
think it's realistic.
Plus, it's the same reason like Arch Manning's never going to play for the Colts, Broncos, Saints, or Giants. It's too much for that.
Yeah.
Imagine Derek Dooley coaching the Dogs. Like that would be impossible. Like
Yeah, no, it would be honestly it would be a bad career move for Shane Beamer. And not because like I think Virginia Tech is hopeless. Like I don't think we would talk about we know what Virginia Tech's upside is. I don't think you and I would ever say that is a hopeless situation or anything like that. But the immediate pressure that Shane
yeah,
Beamer would be under would be unbelievable. But because like the headlines would basically be hey, look, we've got Frank Beamer back, even though it's his son and it's a completely different thing. And like that's immediately setting yourself up for a lack of success.
It's the same thing. Like I know Dabo Swinney's sons are all getting into coaching too. Like they all played at Clemson. They're all holders. Like
Yeah.
there's been a Swinney being the holder for the last 9 years. But like I don't think it like to overcome the aura of dad. I don't think you could do that at Clemson. Like you could
No.
go pretty much anywhere else.
Yeah. 100%. And like let's also be honest, like South Carolina is a much better job than Virginia Tech right now.
Oh yeah, the money's better. The recruiting's better. I'm gonna go like the next three guys after Beamer: Wilcox, Silverfield, and Golesh. It's be funny, like you have a Justin sandwich with Justin Fuente, Brent Pride, Justin Wilcox.
Yeah.
I love Wilcox there. I just don't necessarily know if they would not do that. I also feel that like Ryan Silverfield, which I think he'd actually do good, he won't get that job because of Justin Fuente.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. Like, I think Ryan Silverfield is a better coach than Justin Fuente is for sure, like without a doubt. But at the same time, like once you've been burned by a specific G5 program hiring a head coach from there, it's going to be a minute before you go back to that well.
And then Alex Golesh is going to have a lot more offers
Mhm.
potentially, and maybe he goes back to like Ohio or Florida or somewhere where he probably has well he's still in Florida, but like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
No,
does seem it. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, in I think Galesh and Will Stein are kind of in the same boat where like I think Virginia Tech is going to call both of them. 100% they should at minimum. I just think that they're going to have better jobs that they can go to. And that I mean like that's I just think they're going to have more opportunities that make more sense for them than the Virginia Tech job. Whereas like I'm probably a little bit higher on Justin Wilcox just because like I think he could do the like Cal has been a respectable football program in a lot of times when it probably shouldn't be. And like I think that's what's kind of one of the things that's kind of been missing from Virginia Tech is like there hasn't been someone since they hired Fuente. Fuente and Pry have not been particularly good at keeping a baseline, lowering the floor of what the program is. And like I have full confidence that Justin Wilcox can do that and at minimum set a baseline so he can either build on that and like start reaching towards the ceiling or you get him out or you usher in someone new who already has that baseline established and then you can go to the ceiling higher.
I do think if they do hire Wilcox would be really good. It's like he's a West Coast guy, but he's also an ACC guy at the same
Yeah,
time.
100%, 100%.
That's also still crazy. I think about that. His dad's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Hey, look, we're all about nepotism on today's show
Uh,
apparently.
100%. Um, some of the other names on here, I we'll touch on Brian Newberry in a second because that's weird. But
Yeah, I'm not no, let's touch on it now because
yeah,
I keep seeing Brian Newberry and Jeff Monken mentioned for all these jobs. No. Like
this is just
no.
getting ready. This is just getting more money.
Yeah, like this is their agent floating this. This is like I don't think people understand that. Well, okay, let me back up. I think Jeff Monken and Brian Newberry, there are certain programs that are more of a disadvantage than even these two programs are that should consider those hires and should consider running the triple option because it is a like it does level the playing field if you do are not able to get the athletes that match up. It gives you a schematic advantage. At the same time, I know that right now both of these programs are not in a great spot. At the same time, they have the potential to not be in that spot. And I think Jeff Monken and Brian Newberry would shoehorn them into a situation where you're going to have a very defined ceiling and you're never going to get above that. The goal of Virginia Tech and UCLA should not be, well, let's just make a bowl game and that's good enough. I truly believe there are P4 programs that should have that goal. That should be their goal. But I don't think that either one of these places, that's what they should be shooting for.
You would be running a triple option like at a academic power private school, essentially. Like if Vanderbilt was bad, if Northwestern was bad, if Duke was bad, if Stanford continues to be bad, like Wake Forest, like that's where it could do. I don't think you could ever run it at a place like North Carolina or Cal just because there's too
No,
much talent in state. Because we saw what happened to Georgia Tech when you do that.
100%.
So again, I think that's intriguing. Dave Doran's not going to leave. sure, Raleigh, unless Wisconsin opens up, I think he'd consider that because
Yeah.
he was Bielema's DC there.
Hmm.
And GJ Kinney, like I don't think he's long for Texas State, but I think you're looking at him more in the Texas Oklahoma footprint. I know he played at Tulsa. Should have hired him instead.
Maybe.
But maybe he
I
goes to Oklahoma State. That's what I think
that's
he'd
what I
do.
was about to say. Yeah. He feels like a very good Gundy replacement. Should that come to fruition, which it's looking like it might.
And John's well, I don't know if John Summerall would take that job. Charles Huff and Jimbo Fisher know the region from like Jimbo growing up in West Virginia and Charles Huff coaching West Virginia. Don't hire either of them. This is not going to work.
No, don't do that. We don't want that.
So Chesney's your favorite. Is there anybody off the board you like too before we wrap this segment up?
I I think you still got to give Buster Faulkner a call.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would leave. I don't he could be in the Will Stein category of there are going to be better offers out there, but I think you have to call him. I think you have to make that call because I do think he would make a hell of a lot of sense for Virginia Tech.
And I think you got to look at Lance Leipold and Antti Koltanecki.
Yeah, 100%.
And because if Wisconsin opens up, only one of them could possibly be the head coach there, and they
Yeah.
both have strong Wisconsin ties. But I think what they did at Buffalo and Kansas, and now with Colt Necky a little bit, or should be doing at Penn State. Actually, Colt Necky probably not at Virginia Tech because that's for Brent Pry. Can't do it. This
Yeah,
is
yeah. That's a good point. Um, One name that I think we should consider, I think potentially for both of these jobs, I don't know if I love it, but I do think it's someone that's not really being talked about and I think could definitely be a sort of retread hire. Tom Allen's name has not been mentioned in
yeah,
either of these conversations. And the Clemson defense has underperformed obviously to this point as has every part of Clemson to this point. But Tom Allen has a very long track record as a head coach.
yeah.
And if you're like both of these programs need stability, someone like Tom Allen, as established as Tom Allen, that seems like someone that they would both call.
Yeah, like I wrote that Wisconsin should look at him too if it doesn't work out for Fickle. I think Tom Allen at UCLA would actually be a really good hire.
Yeah, 100%. You need stability. Here's the most stable man in the country.
Like if something bad happens to USC and it's Matt Campbell, you need a guy who's kind of like that.
Yeah,
All defense at UCLA, that could be good.
yeah, 100%.
And I guess the last thing I have on here, we've talked about Alex Galesh potentially being a guy like to take replace Satterfield at Cincinnati.
Hmm.
There's other Iowa State too if Campbell
Yeah.
leaves. Ryan Silverfield's name's coming up a lot. Is there any place you think that would kind of work for him? Because it feels like Memphis, like if Memphis wins the group of five, I don't think he's there next year.
In a world where honestly, so you open the door to this scenario. If Dave Doran were to go to Wisconsin, I think Ryan Silverfield at NC State would be really good.
Hmm. The other one that is very interesting too, um, he's from Jacksonville.
Oh,
Uh, he could replace Billy Napier.
oh God. So here's my thing with Florida. I think that there is a very good chance that if Billy Napier does indeed get fired, they do not hire a G5 head coach as their next head coach because you remember your most recent scars, and that's Billy Napier, who was a G5 head coach that you hired to get into this role.
You're probably gonna open up the back of the Brinks truck for someone like Lane Kiffin or Eli Drinkwitz, probably.
Yeah. Or like a highly touted coordinator. Like maybe you're the one who goes after a Will Stein or something like that.
He might get eaten alive there, but
I
Lane and Eli would be thriving. I would love that. Actually, I would
look,
hate that.
I want Lane there. That'd be the most entertaining option without a doubt. But
And
Lane,
he and Kirby don't like each other, so that makes it even better.
they don't like each other, and I'm like, I've never seen Lane more happy than when he was in Boca Raton, just being Florida man. Like that's where he is. That's what he is at heart.
Oh my God. And if that does happen, no, we are living in a simulation, but we're not actually living in a simulation, although we might be. We are doing a
Yes,
simulation for our
sir.
third topic. This is fun. We're gonna probably do this a couple more times throughout the season. We looked solely at ESPN's FPI percentage chance to make the college football playoff. after 3 weeks. And then we're going to run through and see who wins the national championship. And for the record, these metrics change every day.
Oh yeah, God, it's yeah, we had to regroup before the show today.
We had to regroup before the show today. So here's how it breaks down. Ohio State wins the Big Ten. Georgia
Mhm.
wins the SEC. Miami wins the ACC. Memphis wins the American, and Utah wins the Big 12. Those are
Correct.
your five AQs. And your seven other teams in this exercise would be Oregon, Ole Miss, USC, Alabama, Penn State, Texas A&M, and Texas. And that is a wild bracket.
Not at all what I was expecting. Looks nothing like the playoff brackets we had on Monday, that's for sure.
No, sir. So in this situation, your four buys, your Ohio State is the 1 seed, Oregon is the 2 seed, Georgia is the 3, and Ole Miss is the 4 seed.
Hmm.
That's that's unbelievable. I guess in that situation, and this if this were to play out, Georgia loses to Ole Miss, but then beats them in Atlanta. Is kind of what that would probably
Yeah.
indicate.
I mean, like, there's a lot, like, this is what happens when you do it purely based on something like FPI or like any kind of power rating of this nature is like it's really hard to make sense because of the schedule, quite frankly.
All right. So our first round games are number 12 Utah at number 5 Miami, number 11 Memphis at number 6 USC, number 10 Texas at number 7 Alabama, number 9 Texas A&M at number 8 Penn State in a who cares bowl.
They 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 both care, but they both don't care enough.
All right. 5-12. That's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm still going Miami, but
Hmm.
like I do have a lot of faith in Utah and like I think I was weirdly enough, I was playing a slow pitch softball last night and have a guy who went to Texas Tech for grad school and a guy who went to Utah for grad school who are buddies and
Oh yeah.
they were talking about this week's game between the two of them and we'll learn a lot about Utah and Texas Tech in this game on Saturday.
Big Noons game, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
dude, hell yeah. Nothing like
um,
Big Noon in Salt Lake City, baby. Big 10 a.m.
Big 10 a.m. Okay, our 6-11 Memphis at USC. I I don't like USC. I still feel like I gotta pick them here just because I think there's a little more talent that they have there in LA versus Memphis.
Yeah, I'm going USC. I honestly I was surprised that Memphis's playoff percentage was as high as it was, quite frankly. Like I'm not sure what's being seen there that I'm not seeing. Like I think Memphis is a good football team. I just think that we've seen better G5 teams this season so far.
Yeah, man, it is. I don't know why they're so high. I think it's because people are thinking that they might beat Arkansas and get a really high quality win this week, which I'll
Fair.
touch on. I'll touch on here in a second. 10-7, Texas at Alabama.
Mm.
Oh, that not as appetizing as you thought it was. That's some steak rotting in the fridge, man.
Yeah, this is like going, I don't know, like the remember when Salt Bay like opened up those restaurants and everyone was like dogging on it because they're like, "Oh, the steak's terrible," and he just comes out and charges like $1,000 to come and do his BS. Like that's what this game feels like. Like I'm getting ripped off here.
In a way, I think as it's at home, and I think Simpsons play a little better. I'm kind of leaning Alabama here.
As shocking as it is, I leaned Alabama as well. Until I see Arch Manning play quality football, it's hard for me to imagine Texas winning a playoff game.
And I think that's totally fair. And then our 9-8 Texas A&M at Penn State. I'm kind of leaning A&M. I think Marcel Reed is gonna outplay Drew Aller.
Yeah, I think I also have A&M, and it kind of goes back to the conversation we had on Monday about Penn State. I think Penn State is the exact same Penn State team we've seen for the last 5 years. And like, would they be favored in this game? Maybe, but like, I think that it's going to be a defensive slugfest, is what this game would boil down to. And I trust Marcel Reed and Colin Klein much more than I do Drew Aller and Andy Kotelnicki at this point. Like, I still think Kotelnicki is a good offensive mind. I think Again, I think he chose the wrong quarterback.
Bo Privila. when she was in this playoff. But
Yeah.
for the record, Mizzou is the second team out.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and based on FPI, so I think we said this pre-production here. Texas gets the last spot in over um, over Oklahoma by like 0.3%. So
Yeah.
it's really
But
funny.
but speaking on this changing every day, that could change this weekend if Oklahoma takes care of business against Auburn.
100%. So we have our teams advancing. We've got Miami over Utah, USC over Memphis, Alabama over Texas, and then Texas A&M over Penn State. Here would be the matchups in the quarterfinals.
Let's
Your
go.
Rose Bowl, number one Ohio State versus number nine Texas A&M. Your Cotton Bowl, number two Oregon versus number seven Alabama.
Yeah.
Number three, or your Sugar Bowl is number three Georgia versus number six USC. And then number four, I don't know if you pay attention to this. Number four Ole Miss versus number five Miami in Miami Stadium.
What are we doing? This is wild stuff. I love
All
it so
right,
much.
let's work our way down. Rose Bowl, Ohio State versus A&M. I don't think this is particularly close. I would probably go Ohio State pretty easily.
I think it's closer than you do, but I do have Ohio State winning. I I think Texas A&M has the coaching advantage in this one. Not at head coach necessarily, but in terms of Mike Elko calling the defense and going up against Brian Hartline, like give me Elko in that matchup. And I also think Colin Klein versus Matt Patricia probably a wash, but I do think
Yeah,
there's a slight advantage there.
I think that's fair. Cotton Bowl, Oregon versus Alabama.
Um, I went Oregon. I don't feel good about it, but I went
No.
Oregon. I think Oregon has looked like the better team between the two to this point.
Yeah, I think just Dante Moore has just been a little more consistent than Ty Simpson.
Exactly.
Although DeBoer owns Lanning, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we'll see.
We'll see. Um, the Sugar Bowl, Georgia versus USC.
We'll
We
take the
don't,
dogs. We'll take the dogs.
I'm not going to say anything mean for karmic purposes, but yeah, this is Georgia's going to win like 41 to 10.
Yeah, 100%.
Now the Orange Bowl, Ole Miss versus Miami.
I I'm getting high on Miami. Yeah, I went with the Hurricanes running away with this one.
Home field advantage. I think Beck just outplays
Yeah,
Simmons in this one.
yeah.
All right, and we have arrived at a really fun national semifinal. So okay, we're going to go back. We got Ohio State over A&M, Oregon over Alabama, Georgia over USC, and Miami over Ole Miss.
Yes, sir.
Your Fiesta Bowl. Number one Ohio State versus number five Miami, the 2002 national championship rematch.
Yes, sir.
And then the Peach Bowl, number two Oregon versus number three Georgia with Kirby versus Lanning in the House of Horrors for Lanning.
I was about to say the athletic kickoff throwback that did not go well for Dan Lanning at all.
Um, Probably one of the coolest plays in Stetson Bennett's career. Like that touchdown pass is unbelievable.
100%.
Uh, all right, Fiesta Bowl. You can make an argument either way here, I think, for me. But
I can tell you
I,
where I went if you want me to.
you go ahead.
I've got Miami. I think
You
my
do.
so to me in this spot, the experience of Carson Beck is what wins out for me. Like talent wise, these rosters are not very far apart, quite frankly. Like these are two of the best recruiting programs in the country, not just in the playoff field. And the difference is you have a first year quarterback in Julian Sayin and a quarterback in Carson Beck who there's nothing this guy hasn't seen at this point and is now in a situation that plays to his strengths and plays to his advantages. And to me, I think that's going to make the difference in a spot like this.
In the article for John of the Dog, I picked Ohio State over Miami because I trust Ryan Day a little bit more than Mario Cristobal. But I think that Beck is more proven. And honestly, I trust Dawson a lot more than I do Hartline.
Hmm.
I think Patricia's maybe is a little bit better than Heatherman, but it's kind of mostly a wash here.
Yeah.
But for the sake of arguing for something different, let's go with Miami to advance.
Well, and also like think about it. One of the things when I was thinking about this game that came to mind is actually about Ohio State. I think one of the things that played to Ohio State's advantage last year in their run to the national championship, Will Howard wasn't scared of any moment. Will Howard had been around the block 100 times, and there was nothing he hadn't seen at that point in his college career, even playing at Kansas State previously. Like he had been around the block, and that's just not the case for someone like Julian Sayin, where it is the case for Carson Beck.
The other thing here is for like Miami is going to have to like lose a game to be five because otherwise they'd be higher up here.
Hmm.
I think if Ohio State's won, they're either undefeated at this point or like they lost a conference game to Michigan or something and then they beat Oregon. Like Oregon might have been, I think Oregon had it probably been undefeated and lose.
Yeah,
So like maybe they play a little more tight than Miami does.
yeah, 100%.
Let's go into my game. Oregon versus Georgia. I'm gonna be biased, but I'm also feel like there's Georgia's just gonna out physical Oregon, and I think that's it's gonna be a shootout. But like I think ultimately there's just a little more physicality on defense for Georgia than I think Oregon can provide. Plus, I think Georgia's running game is a little bit stronger.
Yeah, so I also have Georgia. You're not being a homer. I have Georgia, but I think you're right. Like I don't think this is a game that either team would win with margin. Like I think this is a absolutely honestly akin to what we just saw in Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah, it'll be a high score. I think either team could conceivably win this.
Yeah.
So your national championship will be Georgia, number three Georgia versus number five Miami in Miami Gardens again. Oh, Beck versus Stockton.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not trying to be a homer here. I think Kirby just owns crystal ball here. I think that's the big difference.
That's where I ultimately came down in, man. And like I I have a lot of belief in this Miami team. I have a lot of belief in Carson Beck and what he's proven to me to this point. Um, no one knows how to get in Carson Beck's head better than Kirby Smart, man. Like you want to talk about like the matchup advantages that Kirby Smart has coaching against his former quarterback, brother. I think it's going to be, yeah, I'm going with Georgia in this scenario.
Yeah. So again, like every time I do one of these with Georgia, like I pretty much have them in the semis. Like there may be matchups like Ohio State, like maybe they just have a better number here. But every time I've done one of these, like whoever's the two or three seeds usually in a much better spot than one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
Because
there's so much like I think I've said it coming into the year and like I still stand by it, but like it doesn't feel like there's a great team this year. And what that's resulting in when we look, whether you're using FPI, whether you're using our college football playoff projections, whatever you're using, the middle of the college football playoff field and what it could look like is stronger than I think it's ever been. It's stronger than it was last year, in my opinion. Like you're looking at this and like, well, honestly, last year Ohio State was the 8th seed, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
win
like
all.
yeah, and like I don't think we're like that far removed from that. Like you look at the teams that are in this, 10 to 7 range. Like you've got Texas, Texas A&M, Penn State, and Alabama based on FPI. And like I understand we're down on some of those teams and what they've done to this point, but let's not act like they aren't all capable of like something clicking and going on a run to a national championship.
They play in a tough enough conference to get those pelts on the wall, and they
Hmm.
recruit at a high enough level to conceivably do this. Like in this cluster right here of 12 teams we have, to be quite frank with you, there's only three teams on here or four teams on here I don't think could win a national
Did you
championship.
just see USC and that's why you added the fourth?
Yeah, like Utah and Memphis, just not enough firepower. I
Hmm.
don't think Ole Miss recruits high enough
Yeah.
level, and then USC is kind of the same sort of thing. But like everybody else on here, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, A&M, Texas, Alabama, Miami, like
Hmm.
they're doing what you need to do to make the playoff, which is probably why they grade out so favorably with FPI.
100%. Yeah. I mean, like none of those programs, would it shock you to see them win a national championship? We haven't necessarily seen that through the first 3 weeks of the season, but like it again, it's college football. Dumb s happens all the time. Something like it. I am not like I understand like just using Arch Manning in Texas as an example. We are down on Texas because Arch Manning has looked so bad. It would not shock me in the slightest if something just clicks. Like if something just clicks for Arch Manning in the right way, there's not like there's going it's going to be hard to stop Texas because this team is unbelievably talented, has one of the best defenses in the country.
I'm gonna do something because we made really good time on this, and I think this is fascinating because it was such a close margin for error for Texas to get the last spot in
Yeah.
over Oklahoma. Like, what if Texas and A&M both just don't make it, and then Oklahoma and Mizzou get in? So like Oklahoma's your nine, and Mizzou is your 10.
Mm.
Like, I wonder if that changes the calculus a little bit because Mizzou would play at Alabama, and I'm assuming in that situation they probably beat Alabama during the regular season at home.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma, Penn State, that could be interesting. Oklahoma versus Ohio State. You're looking at that.
Yeah.
Um, Oregon versus Mizzou, probably Oregon, but that's a
Probably Oregon, but like I also know Eli. Eli would have some tricks up his sleeves, man. Like he'd be ready to do whatever he could to get that going.
I think just having John Mateer and Bo Pribley in the playoff would be very
Oh yeah,
exciting.
absolutely.
It, and I know you're very high on both of these quarterbacks, and I'll just kind of leave it with this. What if Bo Pribula Mizzou is what we thought Lenore Sellers, South Carolina could be this year?
You're not wrong, man. I don't hate
Yeah,
it at all. I think it's a better roster, quite frankly.
yeah, I think it's deeper. Eli recruits
Hmm.
as well, but I don't know. That's plus even in down years, Mizzou has defensive players.
100%. Yeah. I mean, Eli knows what he's doing. We can give him a lot of flack because he's a goofer, but like yeah, we like him.
We like him, and we like that segment. We're gonna do that one again for sure. That was so much
Oh, so that
fun.
yeah, I enjoyed that thoroughly.
All right. But it's time for the second half of our show because it's a trap. The Admiral Akbar, it's a trap games of the week. Three games where you think an upset is bound to happen. Maybe we have some overlap. Maybe we don't. What's your first game?
Wisconsin might be in a little trouble with Maryland coming to town, brother. Don't know why they're almost a 10-point favorite. Don't understand that at all. What have I seen from Wisconsin that says that should be the case? Maryland and Wisconsin, or sorry, Maryland and totally blanking on his name. Is it Malik Washington or
Malik
is it?
Washington. Yeah.
Okay, I think if I'm not in there, a receiver in the NFL named Malik Washington went to Virginia and I think is on the Dolphins. I think that's why it like doesn't compute in my mind. Is I think I'm
Th-
talking about the receiver.
And then there's also Malik Cunningham, the former Louisville
Yeah, Louisville
quarterback,
quarterback.
too.
Yeah. So anyway, Malik Washington and this Maryland team, like Loxley's an offensive mind. They can play some offense. I'm not sure Wisconsin can play offense right now. And like their defense is solid, but like I think this has the makings of a game where neither team like looks necessarily great, but like we're coming down to the wire and it's a 3-point game and like things are getting real hairy in Camp Randall.
Yeah. I don't have that game on here or in a JLN, but I'm gonna take Wisconsin just for my job purposes. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
I wrote this for a Badger of Honor. If Wisconsin doesn't beat Maryland on Saturday, this could be a really, really, really bad year for them. Like they got to go 4-5 in Big Ten play, and this requires like you got to beat Maryland at home, you got to beat Iowa at home, and then you got to either win like you got to beat Washington at home. You
Yeah.
you got to beat maybe Minnesota on the road. Maybe you got to beat Michigan on the road. Maybe you got to steal one versus Illinois because you're not beating Ohio State. You're not winning at Oregon, and you're probably not winning in Indiana.
No, 100%. I'm gonna go Maryland in this one, man. I've lost a lot of faith in this Wisconsin team, especially with like my one like great hope, ironically enough, was Billy Edwards. And like if I no correct me if I'm wrong, he's not playing in this game, correct?
It's been very up and down. I'm kind of of the belief that like they'll try with Danny O'Neal one more week because I think they could win without him.
Yeah.
But like they're going to need him to beat Michigan and like Iowa and Michigan coming up.
Yeah, 100%.
Certainly Michigan. Maybe you can beat Iowa with O'Neal, but like you
Yeah.
can't throw Edwards out there and have him get hurt and then ruin your entire season.
Yeah,
So
you can't have your best hope of having a respectable Big Ten schedule get hurt against a team like Maryland. That's not what you want.
and I got to finish with this. Every press conference Luke Fickell does, like he says like a word salad and completely contradicts himself. So last week he said that playing at Kinnick would prepare Wisconsin for playing at Bryant-Denny. That did not work at all.
Correct.
So Wisconsin's also the number four rush defense in the league, which is a bit misleading because like they get carved up through the air at will,
Yeah.
which Malik Washington and Mike Locksley, they might do that.
Yes.
Maryland always has receivers too. The big thing that I'm just like is he's like, oh yeah, but Georgia and Alabama, those great teams were great on defense in all three phases. It's like what are we doing here? He's just losing the plot. It's Steve Coogan at a
I was
poker
about to say
game.
Steve Coogan out here just not making a whole hell of a lot of sense.
The David Hershot.
That's right.
All right, my first one. Arkansas at Memphis. I think this is a very
Mm,
frightening game for the Razorbacks. I think they're feeling themselves a little bit with Taylor Green. Memphis know this is a big opportunity for Memphis to get a win at home in the Liberty Bowl over their regional rival. If you get this win, and let's say Tulane loses to Ole Miss this week, which is totally possible, probably probable
yeah.
in estimations, you're in the driver's seat in the American to win the group of five because maybe that's why they're so factored. Is like people think that they're probably going to win, whereas South Florida's already got the loss to Miami,
Hmm.
and then Tulane's going to probably have one to Ole Miss here. Like just having Memphis to potentially have a chance to get a big pelt on the wall and really take a big step forward. And we see that happen with Mike Norvell and Justin Fuente. I think we've been seeing this thing build there for Silverfield for a while.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Tigers over the Hogs.
So I do not have this game. I probably lean toward the Hogs just slightly. I think this game's going to be close. I think Arkansas's defense is dog water. Which is not exactly what you want when you're going up against a team like Memphis with Ryan Silverfield as your head coach. But at the same time, I do think Arkansas's offense is legit. Like, and I think they're going to be in shootouts with just about anyone that they can score against. And I think Memphis's defense doesn't necessarily have the athletes to hang with Arkansas, and I think that's just going to be like a slight difference down the stretch. Like maybe you're able to score a touchdown when Memphis has to settle for a field goal, and I literally on one drive, and like I think maybe that's like the difference in the entire game.
And I think that's fair. What's your second game?
So you already mentioned it, Tulane at Ole Miss. Um, I'll go ahead and say like I'm going to pick Ole Miss to win this game, but I'm not like fully confident in that. It's not a game I would put hard-earned capital on. I'm staying away from that game, this game in that capacity. But like you look at these two teams, man, and I will say Lane Kiffin might have fell ass backwards into something last week with Austin Simmons being hurt. Trinidad Chambliss looks damn good. Ferris State transfer, we love that to see a Division II power get some shine here. Um, I would assume Austin Simmons is still going to be the starter and still come out as QB1 for this game. But like if it starts going to hell and like Tulane, John Summerall has a game plan that slows down Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin has a quarterback in his bag that he can switch to and like throw the game plan on its head a little bit. And so like I do like that, and I think that's what's going to give Ole Miss the ultimate advantage here. But man, I've been like, there's no reason to not be impressed with what Tulane has done to this point, man. Like you talk about the Duke game, you talk about what they've done so far this season, what they've done under John Summerall in a year and a half. Like they're going to give Ole Miss a fight. There's no doubt about it. And I think they have I think a big difference is you look at what Darian Mensah is doing right now at Duke, and you look at what Jake Retzlaff did so far this year at Tulane, but also last year at BYU. I think they upgraded at quarterback and they fell into it. Like, it wasn't the plan, but you fell into it. And like, I think they're going to get, like, I don't think this Ole Miss defense is very good at all. And so, like, I think Retzlaff has a nice game.
Strange things are happening in Utah. We'll see what
That's
that.
right.
I feel like I will take Ole Miss to win this game just to kind of emo hedge it a little bit.
Yeah.
All the pressure's on Ole Miss. If Ole Miss loses this game, that really puts a damper on. Like they gotta be. Also, they have a tough SEC schedule, but they're the only SEC team that does not play a Power Four team this year.
Yeah.
But you still play Tulane and Washington State, so like okay, whatever.
Yeah. Pseudo,
But
pseudo power four, like
yeah,
power four and a half.
but Tulane, if you lose this game, you're like okay. This is Boise State losing to Oregon and kept it
Mhm.
close. Like it'll be a pill on their wall if you get this game. Oh, you're clearly the best team in the group of five. So this is kind of a stay away for me. But I would, if I had to pick, I'd probably go Ole Miss here.
Yeah. I think I honestly, I'm excited for this one. Like, one thing we need to just say, like, I'm very excited for this week of college football. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. There are a lot of really good games that I'm excited to watch this week.
100%. This one's going to be pretty good. My second one up, Michigan laying 2.5 at Nebraska.
Okay, so this is my number one.
Yeah, I am going to take Michigan to win here, but it would not shock me at all if Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule out coach Biff Poggi and Bryce Underwood in this game.
So I'm going Michigan, and it's for kind of the opposite of what you just said. I think this team is better with Biff Poggi and Chip Lindsey calling the shots than they are with Sharon Moore calling the shots. And I think if Sharon Moore was calling this game, I think they would be overly conservative. I think that they would shell up a little bit in Lincoln. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they just let Bryce Underwood cook. That's what they did last week, and I understand it was inferior competition, but like you go back to the Oklahoma game and like Brent Venables and that defense, all the credit in the world to them. They were daring Bryce Underwood to throw the ball on them. And shockingly enough, an 18-year-old was a little, out of his depth in that, especially with the lack of wide receiver talent that Michigan has. It's not, barren or anything like that, but it's not high level by any stretch of the imagination. You've got to use Bryce Underwood's legs. And Sharon Moore didn't want to do that because he's trying to be conservative and trying to be protected. You can't do that. You can't do that in Lincoln with with a very talented Nebraska team. But I think that our king of the meat sleeves himself, I think he has no qualms with running Bryce Underwood. I think he's right. Yeah, exactly, brother. He's gonna flex on him, and he's gonna use the entire toolbox that Bryce Underwood has at his disposal.
Hey, Bubba, let's go.
Hey, Bubba, let's go.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan here too. I do have a feeling that when we do 3 yards in a cloud of punt, after my final game of Illinois at Indiana, we're probably going to talk about there's probably going to be something coming up from Michigan and Nebraska. I feel like that's a hot button item on the Week 4 slate.
100%. Yeah, I mean, like it's a big game for both because like if Michigan loses this, they're ostensibly probably eliminated from the college football playoff. But on the flip side, if Nebraska wins this, then you got to start talking about them as a top 25 team.
Yeah, they've got a non-conference win over Cincinnati for whatever that's worth too.
Yeah.
So, Indiana is laying 5.5 at home in Bloomington. I'm taking the Illini, baby.
Uh, Man, I don't know what to do with this game.
No, it's
I have no clue what to do with this game. I have it in JLN, so I'll pick it then.
okay.
Give me at least like 5 more minutes before I try to pick this game.
I just kind of feel that the vitriol that Kurt Cignetti has stirred up this offseason, that's going to wear on him, and it's going to basically force Mendoza to push a little bit harder.
Mhm.
I think with Illinois, they this is a game where like Brett Bielema was like, if we win this, we're probably going to be in position to go to the playoff. Like 10-2 is very possible. Let's beat Indiana this year,
Yeah.
but a better version. And I think that just the continuity with Bielema and Luke Altmaier, I think that gives them like they get a late touchdown to win it.
Okay. I mean, like again, I need a minute just because like I think this game is very close. I like both of these teams quite a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be we're gonna be like, can this game end, please? That's how it's gonna be this
Oh,
week.
like this has the makings of like a 4 overtime Big Ten game. I can just feel it in my bones.
Dude, it's like Penn State, Illinois with James
God,
Franklin.
yeah, we're good. It's gonna be a late 3 yards and a cloud of punt. I could already feel it.
I can too. That's my dad's birthday next day. So
God.
but I can sleep through the Falcons Panthers game because probably gonna win that.
Yeah, I think it'd be all right.
And but we can't sleep through anything. We got some Antonio Banderas Bowl of the week here.
Yes, sir. You never sleeping
Never,
with Antonio.
we got to recap what happened there at Berkeley, and then we're going to Boulder for Wyoming-Colorado this week. So Antonio got hooked up with the guys from Red Bull, and he
Yeah,
decided to make a paraglider off Tightwad Hill into the stadium because we couldn't get tickets in there
yeah.
because Justin Wilcox is like, we're sold out. Like, dude, there's so many empty seats.
Didn't know how to didn't know how to break it to Antonio that he didn't really want him there. But after Cal got the win, which we love to see. I don't know if you saw this, but people were using Antonio as a sled down Tightwad Hill. Just holding on to whatever piece of plastic, rubber, whatever it is that he's made of, and just riding it down the hill, man. And couldn't think anything more Antonio than that.
He kept quoting Green Day songs too. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, Macy's Day Parade. And as he's going down the hill with JKS on his back, he's like, and I'm thinking about a brand new hope. It's all I ever wanted, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, he got stuff in the coffin 10% more free after that.
That's right.
That just came to me. Oh my God. Um,
Oh God.
Did he find the furry tractor with the mascot?
Uh,
He doesn't remember his name. He just calls him Furry Tractor.
well, yeah, I mean, that's what he is, so I really don't understand why you need another name, honestly. But he did find the furry tractor. He was surprised by the temperament of the furry tractor, and I was like, "It's a bear, Antonio." And he said, "Bulldog," and I said, "No, not bulldog." And he really couldn't get it, so I had to stop a bear attack. I had the bear spray on ready, which I don't think anyone in Cal would be super stoked about to hear, but keep that on the DL.
No, the worst part is when you have to get to his natural language of Spanish, where Bulldog, which is Toro Pero. And we're like Oso.
I was about to say Oso. Yeah, I know bear. I don't speak a
He's
whole hell of a lot of Spanish, but I know
he's like
Oso.
he's just Bulldog.
I've got to sidetrack us just for a second. Do you know the band Minus the Bear by
I've heard
chance?
of minus the yeah.
So one of my favorite things they ever did was one of their albums is called Minos El Oso because it's just minus the bear in Spanish, which is just a great concept.
Van Halen named an album for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and we'll just leave it at that.
That's right.
And also Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo for the Bloodhound Gang. Oh my God. Antonio, I think Antonio had the most fun at a college football game he's had in a while there.
Yo, 100%. And he if Justin Wilcox doesn't leave Berkeley, it's because he wants Antonio to come back. I think Justin Wilcox is coming around. Like he's kind of a no nonsense guy, but like every time Antonio comes around, good things seem to happen for the Golden Bears.
And I think this is also the thing. I didn't tell you about this. This is what you were confused. You thought he was in Taiwan Hill. In reality, we were in the locker room of
Yeah.
Cal Berkeley, and Antonio said, "I'm Adam Duritz. I'm going to speak to the team." And Justin Wilcox is like, around here, we always stand up straight. He's like, Bulldog.
And then he got in front of the team and he said, I want to be Bob Dylan.
Uh, and Mr. Jones wishes he was a little more funky, so that's why we're going to Boulder for Wyoming at Colorado. Martin Luther, stop, dude.
Martin Luther stop. Colorado might be bad, bro. I like that's one of the things we were talking about, like seeing Deion Sanders on these lists. Like, do you really want to hire Deion Sanders at this point? Because it's not looking particularly great.
No, I don't know how good Wyoming's
They're not
doing.
good at all, but
No, no Bueller's allowed.
yeah, like unless they're playing in Laramie, they have no advantage.
You can't use altitude to your advantage here. It's still the same.
Yeah, you have nothing here.
So Antonio really wants to kind of go to see Matt and Trey of South Park.
Of course. Well, naturally, yes. His his father and father.
Didn't think about that. Um, so yeah, Antonio's got his perfect leopard thong on, ready to go. He's gonna street perform. He's gonna try to swallow his sword again, and we're like, dude, you're a blow up doll.
It doesn't work like this, brother.
So what are we looking forward to besides just hanging out in Boulder for this game?
So I mean, Antonio is definitely a minor celebrity in Boulder because of the the South Park connections, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. So we do have to try to keep somewhat of a low profile. He has mentioned to me trying to go into Rocky Mountain National Park because he wants to try to ride an elk. Um, I don't know how we're going to stop him from doing that, but we should. And then right outside of Rocky Mountain National Park, I don't know if you know this, Bueller, is the hotel where they filmed The Shining at. And
Yeah,
Antonio is very intrigued by that. I'm a little frightened, quite frankly.
he is one of the few people who actually knows where Jack Nicholson is in the given time.
Yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah, that's actually like, we can't quite prove it, but whenever he goes into the closet for the off season, I wonder if it's actually just a portal to Jack wherever Jack Nicholson is.
Red Rum, yeah.
That's right.
Here's John. Here's Antonio.
Here's Antonio. Man, if I was better at Photoshop, that's what I would make for the graphic for the show is Antonio's face coming through the door.
Or at the end of it where like it shows like It shows him at the end doing the I'm not gonna do the hand gesture because it's the occult, but that's
Yeah,
Antonio.
100%. And then after Colorado and Wyoming play, it's gonna pan out on a picture and it's just gonna be Antonio there when this game was played in 1912.
He goes back to the 1929 picture.
That's right.
Oh man, but Deion Sanders doesn't want anything you do with him. But obviously, this is more of a Matt and Trey venture. We basically were told not to go there because not for Ralphie purposes. Deion doesn't want us there, but we'll watch this game how we're gonna watch it.
100%. And we've informed Antonio that he should probably not say Martin Luther Staub. That's probably not what you want to do.
No, he can't call it. He keeps the other thing he keeps calling Cade and Lisa Salter. He doesn't like that very much.
No, not at all. Not at all.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons. Dude, I we got to talk about one thing about Caden Salter that does have Antonio a little befuddled, and that's the size of the men's helmet. Um, Dude has a regular helmet, but he's out here looking like Romeo Dobbs out here with it's the biggest helmet I've ever seen. I don't understand how it's this big. Like the he has some hair, but it's not big enough to justify how large this helmet is. Just absolute mega mind out here, sort of playing quarterback at this point for Colorado.
Yeah, Nick Chubb had one of those giant helmets there at Georgia too.
Yeah,
Sidetrack. There's a guy who I grew up with who went to middle school and high school together. He's Sikh, so he has to wear a turban,
yeah.
and so they gave him the God helmet a little bit. They had to custom make this helmet for him, and he only played like two practices because he blew his knee out.
Oh, poor guy. That's
And
tough.
his parents are academics, so like, we're not doing this.
Never again. Never again.
No.
Like legitimately, when I watch Caden Salter play football, this is a very like random reference, but it's what I think of. You've seen Jingle All the Way, right? With Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, the Christmas
It's a
movie.
Turbo Man, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at the end, when Sinbad has like the big brain on his head and he gets like hit and he starts like wobbling like that, that's what I imagine Caden Salter getting hit is like, because he's just like he's too top heavy. He's just like whoa, about to fall down every single time.
Several years ago, the fanside.com staff writers did a draft of Christmas movies, and my first pick was Jingle All the Way.
Hell yeah.
My
It's a
sec
great movie.
my second pick was Bad Santa,
Yes.
and my third was Just Friends. And everybody mocked my bracket, and I'm like, you picked something stupid. Like this is better.
No, dude, that's three solid picks. Just Friends is underrated, bro. That's a good movie.
I, I know he's got an Oz striker in there.
That's right.
Also, the other part that's hilarious with not Jingle All the Way, what's the second one? Bad Santa. It's Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. Thurman Merman. Let's go.
Thurman Merman. I think about Thurman Merman at least once a week, dude.
Obviously.
The absolute vibes creator. Speaking of Thurman Merman, I saw this with like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Like, so there was an episode where he's like the Cajun Bobby Hill says, Monsieur Robert. And I saw something on there that said Pugsley Adams is just goth Bobby Hill.
God, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah. I also saw somewhere like with the original Adams Family, like the background of their house, like because it was filmed in black and white, it was just so incredibly colorful. And it was a happy, fun family, but they made it look macabre.
That's incredible. I love that.
I love that. Luis Guzman as Gomez.
Dude, first Wednesday is a great show. We could not recommend highly enough.
Gotta get ready for my Jen Ortega Gen Z stare.
That's right.
And in the words of Luis Guzman with waiting, baby, come on. Let's do some just like Novocaine to get out of here with checks the sheet Waylon Jennings. I don't
That's
know
right,
anything about it.
baby. I grew up in North Carolina. I know a decent amount about Waylon Jennings and all of the Highwaymen, which would have been Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Chris Christopherson. Yeah, I have some country music roots, and since we're going to Colorado and Wyoming, it felt very cowboyish, so we had to go there. Oh,
And I'm
speaking of, we got
gonna
to pick Colorado, Wyoming. I'm picking Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, me too. Colorado.
Okay, cool. Glad we got through that.
And we're gonna palate cleanse some Waylon Jennings next week with an 90s alternative rock band from the Midwest. So
That's right.
okay.
That's right.
First song, Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, because where have all the cowboys gone?
That's right. I've got Auburn, Oklahoma for this one
Love it.
because that's probably what someone's telling Jackson Arnold's mom. Don't let your baby grow up to be a cowboy because he tried to go to Oklahoma to be, live the cowboy life out there in Oklahoma. Didn't work out, so now he's in Auburn, Alabama. I think Oklahoma wins this, though, man. I think that Brent Venables is going to do the exact same thing to Jackson Arnold and Auburn, what he tried to do, what he successfully did to Michigan, which is, hey, you can run the ball, sure, but can you throw it? And I don't think Jackson Arnold's proven that he can at this point.
No, I don't have this game on here, but I will also take Oklahoma because it's the knowledge of what Jackson Arnold's limitations are. John Mateer is going to turn the ball over like two or three times, but he's going to throw like 4 or 5 touchdowns, so it'll be fine.
100%. Because Jackson Arnold's probably going to throw 2 to 3 interceptions as well.
100%. Because I couldn't do a Ricky Snicky's cell phone for this. I've got Tulsa at Oklahoma State on Friday night.
Hell yes.
I, Tulsa's gonna win because you don't want your babies to grow up to be Cowboys. And I think Dakota Gregory, our colleague, is like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this game just to like root against Tulsa. I might be wrong. I think he's an OSU alum, but I think he hates Gundy.
I think Dakota's just an all-time hater is really what it boils down to. I say that complimentary to be very clear.
Um,
I'll go Tulsa too for the vibes. I do not have this game, but for the vibes, got to.
for the vibes. I'm a rambling man. Who do you got for that?
I got Michigan State and USC because Riley is a rambling man. Also, this game, I'm going to need some country music or something to help me keep awake with the 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff. My God. Staying up to update these rankings for the number 25 team in the country might kill me, but I think USC does ultimately win this game. I don't think Michigan State has taken the steps that I hoped that they might this year with Aiden Childs and Jonathan Smith.
Not even with the greatest coach in college football, Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got limitations, man.
I've got this game in a little bit. I'll pick it later.
Okay, sounds good.
For this, I'm a rambling man. Lord, I was born a rambling man. I gotta go States, bro. So I've got Maine at Georgia Southern, and give me Georgia Southern.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll take Georgia Southern as well in that one.
Also, apparently, my dad, like when he lived in Maine for 2 years out of college, his first job was working at a paper factory, a paper mill in like near Bangor. So he would go watch
Hell
some
yeah.
Black Bears games
Hell
in the
yeah.
70s. He says, Maine, cold as hell. Don't, and then he moved to Fort Lauderdale. And because of Maine, that's why I'm here, because it's where he met my mom. So yeah.
Hell yes.
Uh Luckenbach, Texas.
So that's Lukenbach. That's Lukenbach,
Luckenbach,
Texas.
Texas.
This is a banger of a song. So, quick story about the song. We were in Chama, New Mexico a few weekends ago, about a month ago actually. The NC State podcast and we went to go to a barbecue restaurant, and we ended up being like just chilling, hanging with friends, eating barbecue, having a couple beers. In there for a while someone was playing live music. The guy played like the same 6 songs. This was one of them that he played twice. And as a result, it's been stuck in my head for like a month. And but it's Lukenbach, Texas, the parentheses in it, which I didn't give you the parenthetical, but it's back to the basics of love. We're getting back to the basics of love with Sam Houston versus Texas. Good Lord, we need to get back to the basics. We need to just teach Arch Manning how to complete a forward pass at this point. Good thing is, I think he can do it against Sam Houston because Phil Longo is their head coach and he's dog water.
Worst coaching hire this past cycle by far.
It's so bad.
Because I didn't know anything about this song. Or looking back on Love, I tried to find a game where two Texas schools are playing each other. Give me the skillet with SMU
Mm.
at TCU, and I think this game's going to go down to the wire. I think it might be TCU's year, so give me the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, I looked at this one. I couldn't find another spot for this one because I wanted to go back to the basics with Arch, but I also like TCU in this one. I was trying to paint out a path to victory for SMU, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
And I do have Texas beating Sam Houston, so I didn't say that.
Yeah,
And I think you,
I assumed so. I'm gonna be
I would assume
honest.
you have Georgia Southern beating Mayo as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Drinking and dreaming.
Oh, that's in Texas Tech, they're in Lubbock, Texas, they're drinking and dreaming, and Utah, they're just dreaming. But I've got Texas Tech, Utah. I could not be more excited for this game. Like I think that it's a great way to kick off the slate on at noon Eastern on Saturday. 10 again a 10 a.m. local kick, so it's going to be weird vibes. It's going to be very Big 12 of it all. I'm going Utah, man. I think Utah is the better team in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, but as good as Texas Tech's offense looks, as good as Texas Tech's offense has recruited and the talent that they have there, I just think Kyle Whittingham and this Utah defense are going to have answers. And I'm not sure Texas Tech's defense is going to have answers for Devin Dampier in this offense.
I've got this game coming up in a little bit, so I'll touch on it then. But with that game, drinking and dreaming, it's basically that's not what's happening with big new kickoff with Joel Klatt in the booth and Gus Johnson being Katy Perry wide awake.
That's right.
There's a non-zero chance that's his favorite song.
Oh, not honestly, I would put it at least 20%.
Dude, I love doing this with dogs. Like I used to be like, what's if your dog had a celebrity voice, what would it be? We've decided that Benji is Norm Macdonald and Izzy is Kristen Bell and Boo Bear is Brad Garrett.
Love that.
We also say like this is their favorite song. Like Benji's favorite song is Pink Pony Club,
Hell yeah.
and James's favorite dog, Luna's favorite song is the Big Hit by One Direction. You don't know you're beautiful because it's just empty.
Let's see. I'll do this off the rip. Huron, we're gonna go Patrick Warburton. Feel like that's very fitting. Just no, I'm good. Yeah.
Remus.
Remus, Aziz Ansari.
I was thinking James Franco, some sort of conniving thing.
Just I was thinking just like frenetic, high energy.
Oh
Like that's what we're
no.
yeah.
Jenny the cat is
Let's go God, who's just like I don't want to be mean, but like the oldest bag of bones that I could possibly think of because that's all the geriatric cat is at this point.
the late Maggie Smith.
There we go. That's a good one. Yeah, just
It's a,
calm, cool, and collected. Love it.
and Huron's favorite song is
I can't do favorite song off the rip. I'll get back to you on Monday's episode on the favorite songs.
But for drinking and dreaming for me, this is where I've got Michigan at USC
Hell yeah.
because it's gonna be up so late. We're gonna be recording. I'm gonna be so tired. I wish I was drinking. I wish I was dreaming, but I'm gonna be doing the show and give me USC because I think that if this game wasn't in East Lansing, it maybe goes the other way. But I'm gonna go the Trojans here.
Yeah, Trojans like playing at home. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, they do. And I've always been crazy.
That applies to both coaches that are going to be in Bloomington this weekend.
Yes.
Um, we got Bert and then we got Coach Sig smoking them through the filter. I'm gonna go against you, man. I'm gonna go Indiana in this game. I think that the big thing for me is I think that both quarterbacks are going to have some struggles in this one. I think your point about Fernando Mendoza is, I think, accurate. I think that he is going to press a little bit. I think it's going to be, especially in Bloomington, I actually think that might be a disadvantage. Like he's going to have to press to try to, because it's going to be a rocking big crowd there in Bloomington. But at the same time, I think Indiana's defense is getting overlooked a little bit. I think Indiana's defense can actually play. I think Indiana's defense is really good. And I think they have enough firepower, particularly on the outside, to test Illinois' receivers in a way that we haven't seen at this point. So I think it's going to be a close one. I think the fact that in Indiana is favored by almost a touchdown, I don't quite understand that. I think this game is decided within a touchdown, but I think Indiana ultimately like pulls it out.
This game bleeds Big Ten energy, by the
Oh
way.
God, yeah, 100%.
Like you cut them open, like what are they? They're bleeding like old styles
Oh yeah. Oh
and
Milwaukee.
old Milwaukee, maybe some cheese curds.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I want to get we want to get each other. That's okay. Um, For I've always been crazy. I've got two other crazy coaches. This has happened in the ACC. I've got Syracuse at Clemson.
Hell yes.
Dabo had a day.
Oh my God, dude. I love him so much.
The guy who covers Rubbing the Rock for us, Zach Lentz, was there for the press conference. He's like, I haven't seen Dabo this unhinged since Tyler and Spartanburg.
Brother, it was something special.
And then you got Fran Brown out here making the orange run laps after they beat UConn. Like these guys are just a different breed.
There's no mistaking that. That's for sure.
And they always play the strangest games against each other. That being said, Clemson's going to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So I think that the version of the strange game, I don't have this one, but I think the version of the strange game that we get is Clemson just dog walking Syracuse. Like I think that this is a get right game for Clemson. I don't think Syracuse is very good.
No,
And yeah, I think Clemson wins pretty handily in this one.
and that's why I picked it. And the last one, Lonesome, Ornery, and Maine.
That's Florida Miami, baby.
Yeah,
Because I think this could apply to both coaches, quite frankly. Miami by a lot, I think.
yeah.
I understand it's a rivalry game that tends to be close. I get that. I just think Miami is better across the board, and I think God help me for the statement I am about to make. I think Mario Cristobal is a better coach than Billy Napier.
Jesus. It's like the UConn UMass game. It's just they're playing for a bowl of something there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I've got Miami big. I think that I'll say this, and I gotta make a point here.
Yeah,
I think that Miami beats Florida by more possessions than there are letters in Miami.
I think that's right. I could see that.
Maybe not as many as in Florida, but they could probably win something like 48-3.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game. I don't know how Florida does anything in this game. Like with the way Lagway is looking, with the way Miami's deep, like how talented Miami's like if you're Florida, I think if you're Billy Napier, the ideal world would be you you lean into the run and take a lot off DJ Lagway's plate. That's what you probably should do. You've actually been running the ball effectively. You just haven't been running the ball enough, which is on Billy Napier, obviously. But like, if you were to make a switch, that's what you'd want to do. Miami might be the best run defense in the country, so probably not the best spot to make that switch. So that means you're probably relying on DJ Lagway again, which I don't think he's in the headspace to be able to do right now.
No, I gotta share this before I share mine.
Yeah.
There was an article that was written on USA Today by I'll throw him under the bus, Matt Hayes. He had
Okay.
to pick every undefeated team's first loss on their schedule. He had Georgia losing at Florida, which versus Florida, which I'm like, what are you talking about? His quote's like, prior to DJ Lagway getting hurt, they were like gonna beat Georgia anyway. I'm like, no, because Billy come bust in this game. First off, Billy may not be coaching this game. Second, Lagway threw 5 picks. And third, Georgia's got a lot more tougher games on their schedule between Florida. Like you got to play Alabama next week. You got to play Auburn. You got to play Ole Miss. And if you win all three, which I think Georgia could do you really think that they're going to be undefeated coming off of a bye versus a team that may have fired Billy Napier and lose in Jacksonville? Are you kidding me?
That's a incomprehensible take. I firmly believe that Georgia will lose a game this season. I'm
Yeah,
not like they're not going to go perfect. It's a tough schedule that they have ahead. Having said that, I don't think they're getting caught by a trap game. I think they get caught by one of the good opponents on their schedule. Florida is not in that category.
no, like I said, the other teams ahead of them, like
Yeah, like I, that. Not, I
you could
don't
lose
even
to,
think this is a bold statement. I think it's more likely that they would lose clean old fashioned hate than it would be
yes,
that they would lose to Florida.
it's more likely they would lose to Texas with the incarnation we've seen of Texas here.
Yeah,
I mean, I
that
feel it's
that's
more
wild. That's a horrible take.
it's not good. It's more likely that they lose to Mississippi State.
Honestly, with the way Jeff Levy's got the boys playing, absolutely.
Maybe not Charlotte or Kentucky, but yeah, pretty much.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, Kentucky might be in for a world of hurt in that game.
And my last game is Texas Tech versus Utah for Lonesome, Unry, and Maine.
Also,
Uh,
also fits.
uh, Joe McGuire's out there all lonesome, but out there in Lubbock. I think there's a chance that Kyle Whittingham is just ornery and mean. I think that he just chews rocks.
Oh,
And
100%.
and I think that like you got the toughest football team in the country versus the most finesse team. I think this is like Bane's breaking Batman's back over his knee. I think Utah wins like 35 to 10.
You were merely raised in the darkness. I was born in Rice-Eccles.
So- and this was episode 210 of False Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter or the X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at TheSizzle20. You can
Oh God.
follow the show on CFB False Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. Give us
Five.
a five
Five.
five-star review. You know,
That's a
um,
five-star joke you just made, man. That was good.
that's how many syllables are in Christopher Nolan's name. So that's good.
Miami, Miami. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think so.
Miami, Miami, yeah, whatever. It's uh everybody always talks about the Joker, but like, no, dude, we gotta give Bane and we gotta give Liam Neeson Ra's al Ghul more love, dude.
100%. 100%.
Isn't like the new Robert Pattinson Batman coming out this holiday season or something like that?
I think it got pushed to next year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was supposed to be this year, but I think it got pushed to 26.
Do you know who the bad guy is?
So if I don't often like so it's a whole thing, but apparently at one point when the first Batman was released, it's supposed to be the Joker, who is going to be
Yeah,
played by what's his name? Barry Keegan or Kean. I'm not
yeah,
don't ask me to do Irish like that. I can't pronounce anything. So like that's
can.
yeah, there we go. The kid from Saltburn. That's there we go. I think he's supposed to play the Joker if they do that. But I don't like they teased it at the end of the first Batman, but I don't know if they're going to do it in the second one. I don't know if they're going to go another way. I like the first Batman with Robert Pattinson. I thought it was a new take and it was good vibes.
I did too. I watched it on a plane. Probably shouldn't have done that.
Dude, there's no like more awkward feeling than picking a weird movie that you're watching on a plane.
I gotta say this. We gotta stop going back to the Joker. We gotta do more villains in this.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're scared because when they started going away from like the more iconic villains, I would say, like back in the day, like, you go to the Michael Keaton Batman, you had the Joker, obviously, with Jack Nicholson in the first one, and then you had the Penguin and Catwoman in the second one. And like it's hard to go wrong when you've got that group in there. But then you went Riddler and Two-Face, which was fine with Val Kilmer and Batman Forever. And
Mr.
then
Freeze.
you went Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. And that movie is like universally panned. I think it's a hilarious watch. It's the campiest thing you ever saw. But like it is like I think the fact that that movie is so critically panned that people are scared of it.
I feel like you could go for you owe it to yourself to go like someone deeper than Scarecrow because Scarecrow works. Everyone likes Scarecrow.
Scarecrow's awesome. Scarecrow and Batman Begins slaps. It's so good.
Give me the Black Mask. Give me Hush. Give me a Calendar Man played by Patton Oswalt.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna blow this up on this day. Uh,
Oh God.
uh, I gotta figure out how to end this show. Just give me something to lay up. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think would have to happen for Patton Oswalt to go on a date with Diego Pavia's mom?
If Vanderbilt wins the Natty, we will set up a date with Patton Oswalt and Diego Pavia's mom.
If Western Kentucky, Patton Oswalt's alma mater wins the national championship, we'll set up a date for him to go with Diego Pavia's mom. Why? Because this is false start.